All right, welcome to this week's webinar. This week I'm going to be talking about specifically how to break a fast properly. In the last few weeks, I've talked about how to prepare for a fast properly, all the things you need to do, all the benefits of fasting and what to do during a fast when things come up emotionally, physically, and other things. And today's going to be focused on, again, how to break a fast properly. So just some of the things we're going to talk about: how to break a fast and transition after a fast, reaping the benefits of ongoing intermittent fasting, how to rebuild the gut or good bacteria for digestion and immune function, how to transition from fasting to living a healthier lifestyle. I really think that the whole point of fasting to begin with is kind of a statement to the cosmos and realizing, maybe I need to step things up a notch. Maybe I need to clean my body out and, generate, as science would call it, rejuvenescence. Literally taking years off your life and reassessing where you're at, and obviously making a statement to live a longer and healthier life. So it's a little bit of what we'll talk about. Creating healthier habits for the long run. For long-lasting health, understanding the pendulum of fasting and wanting to binge afterwards is a big thing. The most optimal foods to drink and how to break a fast, and why the next 30 days after is so important. So let's just get straight into it. Breaking a fast properly. So, whether it's a 21-day juice fast or 21-day water fast or 30 or 40, I really think that, if you're only doing 24 to 48 hours of fasting, your body's really just maximize its enzyme pools, insulin sensitivity, protein utilization, and all those things, kind of like with intermittent fasting. It's not so important to worry so much about how to break a fast. Your body will digest the foods and things so much easier. But even with intermittent fasting, I do intermittent fasting every day, sometimes anywhere from 16 to 23 hours. Sometimes I have one meal a day. Sometimes I may have fruit juices or fruits or even some raw veggies as one of my little meals, and then go into heavier foods. You don't have to worry about it so much with shorter fasts. Even 7 days, yes, in 7 days, you have shrunk the digestive system a little bit. With juice fasting, you could go straight into fruits and then probably into other things, after you've filled yourself with some fruits within a 24-hour period and be all right. Some people will be a little more sensitive to others, so it's important to really take that first meal kind of slowly. Some people you wouldn't suspect to be sensitive are, and some people you would think, it just kind of goes both ways. It's hard to tell. So when doing at least 7 days on juices or water, you want to take those first meals slowly. And especially with water, water is a much deeper kind of cleanse. And you're not really receiving all the antioxidants and nutrition, that juices have to offer. So the digestive system and process shuts down to even a higher degree. Yes, there's more healing, but you probably need to be a little more gentle with reintroducing things. So I'm going to say with the water fast, if it was just 7 to 10 days, you would start with fresh squeezed juices. They could be full-powered juices, or you could even start with fresh fruit. I'm going to talk a little bit about how to honor this process. I was going to say later, I might as well talk about it now. Essentially, there are different bodies that we're feeding. We're only told, really, I'm just going to find this photo. Here we go. We're only really told that, when we eat, we feed our physical bodies. And that's not necessarily the truth. There's been mystery schools and individuals who had known about other bodies that exist. And you probably won't hear much about this, but a lot of us tune into these energies and types of things at different times. But we have a mental body that exists. And by using our mental capacities, we can feed that mental body and nourish our mental body. And, for people with Alzheimer's and memory problems and other things, they're probably not feeding their mental body and thinking and using that as much. We can feed our emotional body. We can also feed our etheric body, or what I call energy body. And then we feed our physical body. And there's a specific way to really honor and feed all of these bodies that's been handed down for thousands of years. And the beautiful thing about fasting specifically is it really puts you in tune with these different bodies when you break the fast and do it in kind of a sacred way, a very ritualistic way, which, you don't have to be all ooey wooey, spiritual about it. You can just, this is how you do it, and you just feel the benefits. For example, I've worked with clients, one woman, Carrie Eden Smith, who broke a 40-day water fast on my 7-day juice fast, the first one I ran in Australia, up in the mountains near the Sunshine Coast at an eco lodge. And when she broke this fast, it was amazing to watch, because if you can imagine a woman who's already fairly thin going 40 days on water, I definitely recommended against it, because by day 30 she was nearly gone, hardly able to move and all of these other things, but she was so determined to do 40 days that she did it. And I supported her through that process, along with other individuals who were crewing and with me during that time of my 7-day juice fast. And you could see the energy and the life force and these bodies being fed through this process before she ever actually even swallowed any food. So the process, if you've done especially an extended water fast, but even on an extended juice fast, of gathering the foods that you're really looking for. I never have determined what I'm going to break my fast with until the day I break it. Even if it's, a couple days on water, 10 days on water, or longer, or juices, I'll actually go to a fruit shop and look around, and sometimes just highly, highly attracted to a peach. Other times I might be highly attracted to some berries. Sometimes all I want is like avocado. I've broken an extended water fast with just a single tomato, with a little bit of salt and extra virgin olive oil. And the process, every time I break a fast, is the most enlightening, orgasmic, beautiful experience I'll never forget. Each one of these experiences is so deeply locked in my memory and profound. So the process is like, let's say I pick a tomato, for example, which most people will be like, oh, tomato's not that good. But I'll tell you what, after 10 or 20 days of doing a water fast, it's the most orgasmic experience on the planet. You sit down and you use your mental capacity. So you think about, okay, I've got this red tomato sitting in front of me. How does this tomato grow on the plant? What does the plant look like? What does the tomato look like? Well, it's red, it's got different chambers in it, kind of looks like the heart. Maybe it's good for my circulatory system. And you really just ponder the food. You're thinking about it. And this is really feeding your mental body. You start to really gain energy just by thinking about it. And by thinking about it, you're also activating the salivary glands. All of a sudden there's enzymes in the stomach, enzymes being produced in the mouth and different places to actually break that food down, specifically geared towards that food. Then you smell it. The smell of that food, I swear, lights up your energy body, your etheric body, and there's an energy that comes into you just by smelling the food that is absolutely phenomenal. Now, there are scientists that say just the effluvial molecules, just the smell of a garden fresh organic tomato can actually start to clear out arterial sludge within the body. I've read articles about this years ago and was just absolutely dumbfounded by how a smell of a food could actually start healing processes and detoxification within the body. Absolutely brilliant. So after you're thinking about this food and really connecting with it, maybe there's a spiritual connection there as well, but really just almost meditating with the food, thinking about it, smelling it, and activating all these processes within the body, then putting it into your mouth. And I recommend when you break the fast literally closing your eyes, taking a deep breath. And, I spend time just cutting the tomato with a knife, spreading a little bit of salt on it, maybe drizzle a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, and just really connecting with this food. And then comes time to picking it up and actually putting it in your mouth. And after 10 to 20 days of starving yourself, being on this fast for multiple reasons and going through the trauma of emotional release and physical release and all these things, to nourish yourself and put this tomato into your mouth and to start to chew it is such an emotional experience. And I would say it's an orgasmic experience. Literally just things taking place within your brain, within your being. Some people are shaking, some people are just orgasming, like a whole body orgasm. There's nothing in your entire life that you've probably experienced similar to this. And this is some of the most, beautiful qualities of fasting that people don't talk about. There's some really beautiful things that can come from the process of fasting that lead to things like this, especially when you honor it in a very sacred way. A lot of people might do a fast and, oh, I'm done, okay, and they just start, shoveling food down their mouths again, down their throat holes. And I believe that to create longevity and to create really divine health and presence and consciousness and all of these things, every time we eat, we should really be thinking about the food. We should be in a state of gratitude, state of happiness, maybe people around that we love. And just enjoying that time and really taking the time to chew the food and smell the food and really just love it. It's one quality I love about like Italians and some types of people, how, they really take time. Certain cultures will sit down and eat meals for hours while they conversate and talk and discuss life and all these different things. And I really think that's a beautiful thing. So as you can see in the picture here, this is one of my Heal Thyself Bali programs where we fasted for, some of these people 14 or even 21 days. And I think this one specifically is after 21 days of fasting. And after that 21 days, everyone coming up and picking very specific, this is water fasting. Some people might have gone to juice for specific reasons, but most of them water fasting for this period of time. And then breaking the fast, and really choosing the types of, you can see the tomato and basil and avocado or the different fruits, fresh seasonal fruits that we had available. And everyone's sitting around and honoring this. This is an experience that none of these people will ever forget. I'm pretty sure you could go to any one of these people and say, hey, tell me about your breaking of the fast experience with Tyler Tolman. And they'll probably take a few minutes to really talk about it. Cool experience. So breaking a fast, I believe, should be kind of a sacred experience. And when breaking a fast, what do you want to eat? Well, the most easily digestible foods on the planet that'll get things started and really nourish you, give you a lot of antioxidants, really hydrate the digestive system again, are going to be fruits. And when I say fruit, tomato and avocado are included in those. And I would recommend, really feeling that out if those are on your list of things to break first. And really honor your senses when it comes to breaking the fast of making a choice then. When you want to break that fast, really looking at it and saying, okay, what do I want to break my fast with? Now, there's a lot of proponents for fasting and people that teach, if you do an extended water fast, they have these fanatical ideas that you have to fast on juices for every day you fast on water. Or you have to eat only fresh fruit for every day that you fasted on water or juice. And, I don't agree with that at all. I've been facilitating fasts for many years. My father's been facilitating fasts since I was 13 years old or younger. And, I really think that on any fast, you can go directly to fresh fruit if you honor it and you really make it a proper ritual. Now, with Some long fasts, especially water, let's say someone is going to do 20 to 30 or even 40 days on water, depending on the person's constitution and the way they're feeling and the way they're looking, you may want to suggest breaking the fast on watered down juices. So you could take, and especially if this individual is fasting for purposes of dealing with some type of disease or condition, you may want to water down vegetable juices 50% or water down fruit juices 50% to see how they're going to react coming out of the fast and still make that a very sacred, honored process. But like I said, in most cases, you could go straight to raw fruits. And after having raw fruits, if it's 20 days or more on a water fast, I would recommend giving yourself at least 2 or 3 or 4 meals of fresh fruits before moving on to like vegetables or greens or anything else like that. After fresh fruits for a period of time, if you really feel like you want something warm, vegetable broth or even tea can be really good. I've had extended fasts water fasts where I broke the fast with raw goat's milk. And the only reason being was I was reading my dad's book called the Magnus Opus, a really profound piece of work. And it talked about, the process of being reborn again on a water fast. And when you're reborn, it's like going back to, what we're brought into this world with, which is like mother's milk. And goat's milk being the closest component to mother's milk. And adding a little bit of honey. In the Bible, it talked about the land of milk and honey. And Moses and other individuals who literally lived for extended periods of time and fasted on goat's milk and honey, and had some pretty cool experiences with that. So what I would recommend, after having, a good period of time on fresh fruits and then moving on to maybe vegetable broths and then vegetables, you might want to start with carrots and cucumber and celery and things like that, which are also high water content foods. You could really bring those things in fairly quickly, in my opinion, if not even breaking your fast with it, if it was something you were really craving. After you've inundated yourself with these things, and when I say inundated yourself, a lot of proponents for fasting as well will tell you that you should only eat very small amounts. And I agree with that to a degree if someone's on really an extended water fast. 21 to 40 days on water, yes, take it very slow, see how your body reacts, build yourself up. But in some cases, I've fasted many people 20, 30, and even 40 days. And in a lot of these cases, they're just ready. And they start eating fresh fruit. And in many cases, I would recommend actually trying to eat as much as possible after the first little breaking and ritualistic way of doing it. Instead of, mucking around with things and just having small little bits, which, never build the digestive system enough to really create a bowel movement. And then for days and days, sometimes weeks, people are having these weird in-between moments. They can't shit. Their digestive system feels backed up. They got all these issues going on. I really think that we should inundate ourselves with food. Like you've been fasting, you've been starving yourself to a degree. It's important to now feed and nourish and get the digestive system moving and build some bulk within it and get everything flowing. And when we do that, especially with fresh fruits, you got to understand that these fresh fruits are rebuilding the gut. They are fermenting in the digestive system to a degree and creating probiotics and things. And I also believe that we should be reintroducing really powerful probiotics and good bacteria into the digestive system with coconut yogurt, regular organic biodynamic yogurts if you're into that sort of thing. Maybe adding bits of fresh fruit and even some honey into it. Again, if you're into that sort of thing. If you're vegan, go for a coconut yogurt. Go for a nut yogurt. Go for some sauerkraut. Either way, sauerkraut's fantastic. Sauerkraut's probably one of the best, in my opinion, probiotics on the planet. I eat sauerkraut nearly every day and find that when I do, it just melts fat. It helps with digestion. If you look in Europe and certain countries like Germany and others, they eat sauerkraut before having protein-type meals. because sauerkraut balances the stomach acid and it helps us digest proteins. Sauerkraut's an amazing probiotic, and if you add garlic or onions, garlic and onions are like some of the best prebiotics, which are pure food for the probiotics. There's things like miso, kefirs are absolutely fantastic. So, these are some of the things that I would integrate also into the breaking of the fast almost from the get-go. You may go through a ritual of breaking the fast with some fresh fruits, some broth or goat milk or whatever, but then get straight into these types of things. And I think that, especially yogurts, nut yogurts, coconut yogurt, even regular yogurt, are very profound at rebuilding the body. Honey is going to bring you back immediately. This girl, Carrie Eden Smith, that did 40 days and was literally blowing away in the wind and couldn't even move, broke her fast with avocado and honey. And I can tell you that she went from death, not able to move, hardly able to talk, really a state that was not pretty, to just this ball of energy and joy and vitality within a few minutes of just having some avocado and some honey. So, these types of things are just fantastic. On these extended fasts, after a few days of eating fresh fruits and rebuilding the gut, then you can bring in some greens, some lettuce, some spinach, some cabbage, whatever types of, salads with some sprouts, then putting in maybe some vegetables, then adding in maybe some steamed vegetables, some vegetable soup, some lentil soup, things of that nature, and raw vegetables, etc. And then after having all these sorts of things, then you would look into maybe having some cooked grains, some beans, lentils, etc. And then after that, your digestive system should be working to where, if you're a meat eater and you're going back to that, then you can start having meats, eggs, nuts, these, denser proteins that would be harder to digest, I would save for the very last thing that you start to bring in. Now, some people have asked me, hey, Tyler, could I break my fast on pulse? And, I say, yes, absolutely. If you're feeling drawn to break the fast on pulse, but when you're doing it, it's a process of really just salivating, smelling, having very small bits, chewing it up really well, and almost turning it into a liquid before you swallow it. Otherwise, I'm going to recommend, obviously, raw fruits first, or juices for water fasting. So yeah, making it into a beautiful experience. When you break a fast, it's a celebration. And if you plan for a 7-day or a 21-day fast and you end up breaking it early, so what? If you skip a meal, if you skip 2 meals, you're doing your body good. Never feel like you've been a failure. If you say, hey, I'm doing a 21-day fast, and you make it 1 day and you want to break it, celebrate. Celebrate where you've gotten. It's been a learning experience. And, sometimes we're a little bit weak, and sometimes it's just not the right timing to fast. So don't beat yourself up about it, and really still honor this process of breaking the fast and celebrate. Give yourself a good pat on the back for what you've done, and know that in the future, we got the rest of our lives. And even if you did 24 hours, we got the rest of our lives to be fasting and pushing the limits and trying different things. Make it easy, make it fun, and make it about just the experience. Don't get caught up in whatever your head is telling you. More points for breaking a fast. Pay close attention to your body's reactions to the new foods. Watch for any adverse reactions, perhaps signaling a mild allergy or that you've gone too far too quickly. A lot of people have aversions to certain foods that may be causing symptoms, may be causing tiredness, may be causing all kinds of things. And the best time to know what you may be allergic to or what's not best for your body is after a fast, because after a fast, your body's really in tune, and you've raised your vibration to a degree that it's a good time to really allow yourself to take in foods and then see how you feel. And you can continually add foods for a lot of people that are looking, like even people that are doing the elimination diet and looking for things that are causing their chronic fatigue and causing their digestive problems and all these other things, it's a great time to really look for those things after a fast and find out what things make me feel fantastic, what things are lifting me up, and are there things that I've added in that really, take my consciousness to a place I don't like, or take my energy to just an all-time low. And, just being in tune with that can really help you to modify your lifestyle into a, lifestyle that's going to create more health and more energy and vitality. When breaking the fast, begin with small meals every couple of hours, but just keep the process going until you're back into your normal routine and really fill yourself. And I would say, continually eat as you feel it until you're having digestive bowel movements and everything seems to be functioning properly. Then I would recommend going into intermittent fasting. And I believe that intermittent fasting is the next evolution beyond doing a fast. You bring fasting into your daily lifestyle and you start to honor the body's natural processes of detoxification, appropriation, and assimilation. And I have other webinars, fully geared towards teaching those principles that go back thousands of years and how it can bless your daily life. It's the way I live. I would never go back to eating 3 meals a day. It's just, back in those days, I was sleeping, I was tired. It just didn't work for me. And I believe that most people in general will find benefits from intermittent fasting. But you can watch and learn about that on different webinars. But I really believe that's where, too, after doing a fast, and if it's not after the first, maybe the second or third, you'll start to feel like you want to maintain that energy of fasting in your daily life, and you can through the process of intermittent fasting. Chew your food really well. This really helps immensely with proper digestion and just creating good habits. A lot of us, I used to be a gourder, just totally gored through my food. My brothers and I used to have competitions who could eat a foot-long Subway sandwich the fastest. And I have signs in my eyes and signs in my body that show that, I really messed up my digestive system in a big way by doing that. So creating new habits where you can still eat plenty of food and enjoy it even more, I believe, but doing it in, kind of honoring it, taking it slowly. Strive to add live enzymes and good bacteria to your digestive system. So even on a daily basis after that, looking at fermented foods, fresh foods, fibrous foods, all these things build the gut and support good bacteria within the digestive system. And I don't recommend taking probiotics or prebiotics or any pills for that matter. I recommend getting all these things from whole foods because that's when they're truly alive and that's when they truly work the best. And you've got all these other factors involved. Whereas with just taking probiotics, you don't know what you're breaking down in your body if you don't have food going down with it. Overall, the following 4 factors represent what we are trying to accomplish when breaking a fast, going from frequent towards less frequent meals, small meals to larger meals, easy digestible foods towards the harder digestible foods, and then less variety, starting out with, maybe one type of fruit and then working your way up to where you're adding a little more variety into your meals. So one thing I like to talk about that a lot of other people don't is the pendulum. I believe there's balance in all things. John DeMartini is a great guy to really look at, talking about there's polarity in the universe. For every positive, there is a negative. For every time you push things in a really profound, awesome, conscious, cleansing, fasting, exercise, beautiful way, you're going to have the backswing of unconscious, lazy, binging, other types of things. And I believe that especially the first time you do a fast, it's a massive swing. It really is a massive swing. And so when you push yourself to these high degrees of fasting and eating healthy foods and all these, you may swing back the other way. And when you come off the fast, you may be craving foods that you didn't even really eat before. Cheeseburgers or hot dogs or just crazy things. And, to a degree, within reason, I would recommend just honoring, your body and where it's at and allowing yourself to have a little bit of that pendulum swing and be okay with it. Because a lot of people, they'll have such overwhelming urges to eat certain things that they'll do it. But then the stress that they cause for days, weeks, and even months from how they didn't break the fast properly and they went off and they did all these things, the stress from that is even more toxic than just, allowing what is to be. And what I find is when you push the pendulum, see if I can get my little mouse up here, maybe not, but when you push the pendulum, you push it out and then it swings way back the other way. But each time you do a fast, it's like you're moving up the ladder. If you could picture almost like a ladder at the center. Each time you do a fast and push and then swing the other way, you come back to this middle point actually being higher than what it was before. You'll notice that you actually naturally change something or some things in your life that leaves you at a higher level of operation. And then the next time you do a fast and you push it and it swings out all the way up and then all the way back, you swing less. There's less of a binging, less of an unconsciousness, less of bad habits, and you're left at a higher degree in the middle. And again, the more you fast, each time you do it, there's this less and less swinging, but you're still climbing the ladder. You're still gaining new information. You're still healing the body to a much greater degree. And you'll find that the first time you do a fast, a person might have gone off and binged on McDonald's or binged on pizza or binged on something, ice cream or whatever it was. And you'll find after many years of fasting or even many times of fasting, your binging will be on, things that you might go, I just went off and I totally binged on that nut yogurt. Oh man, I did this fast and then I totally was binging on that, I ate way too much of this salad, and I find the things I was beating myself up for the first times I fasted and what I'm beating myself up for now are absolutely laughable. If people knew what I beat myself up for when I binge on things, what kind of food it actually is, they're like, oh my God, that's just ridiculous that you would even, beat yourself up about eating that. And that's the idea, is every time we do the fast and we go through these processes, I find myself more balanced in my everyday lifestyle that, my everyday lifestyle is phenomenal, so healthy, and yet I can still see all of the places where I can improve. I don't care where you are in your life. You're always going to, look at where you're at and be like, oh, I could be doing so much better. Even when you're eating a very pristine type of lifestyle and exercising and doing all these things, we can still see where we can massively improve. And that's the beautiful part of evolution and consciousness and health and all these things is, for me, the more I do, the more I see I can do. And that's a beautiful process. But just be aware that if you do a big fast and, and you have these massive urges that you can't control, and you go out and you binge on certain things, just, maybe honor it. If you need to sit down and eat a hot dog because it's so overwhelming inside of you that you need to have it, sit down and bless it. And really just enjoy every single bite and allow yourself to love it. And then afterwards, eat a heap of salad and veggies and fruits and, nuts and seeds and beautiful plant-based foods to give yourself enough fiber to eliminate it. And then move on, because I believe if you satiate it, then you move on, you're past it, and you're not going to stress yourself over it. And in time, through this process, that's the last thing you're going to crave. So where to after the fast? New habits. Design your life. I believe if you design your life, you're actually going to stick to it, and you're going to start to create habits and do things that are fantastic. But it takes actually sitting down and having a game plan. After a fast, it's like, okay, well, what plan do I have for the next 60 to 90 days? And in fact, most of the benefits from fasting start to show up within 30 to 60 days after the fast. I can tell you some of the most profound downloads I've had, some of the most profound journals I've read from my father were information that started to come in 30, 60, 90 days after his fast. because it's almost like the information received from whole foods and received from the neural bridges that are connected in the brain during a fast, scientifically proven. You can watch Eat Fast and Live Longer, a documentary by Dr. Michael Mosley, showing that when you fast, there's neural bridges being connected and synapses within the brain that are starting to grow. And a lot of times you don't experience the intelligence and the downloads and the benefits of fasting until you've really renourished yourself and had smoothies and juices and fresh whole foods and got back into exercise and really created a new lifestyle. But by doing those things, you'll enhance the qualities of fasting. So what kinds of new lifestyle things do I recommend? Well, I recommend really exploring intermittent fasting. I recommend breaking your fast with either a smoothie or fruits or juices every single day. Implement juices into your life, a massive hit of antioxidants and minerals and micronutrients and vitamins and all these beautiful things juices have to offer. Don't just do it when you're fasting. Make it a part of your daily lifestyle. I have, a Kabbalah juice, carrot, apple, beet, lemons, sometimes a turmeric or ginger or other things nearly every single day. And it's just one of those things that gives me that added juice, that added energy and vitality that keeps me going, that blesses my body with such profound antioxidants that it can deal with some of the stresses of life. It can deal with some of the pollution around me and some of the other things that are going on. So it's important. And if you don't want to make juices, make smoothies. The fibers of these whole foods are fantastic. Have a smoothie every day or a juice every day. Creating a situation for exercise every day, maybe even meditation. Looking more at a plant-based lifestyle, making a ritual out of eating. Creating times where, when you're going to eat, just make sure you're in a positive energy. Make sure you smell your food. Make sure you're actually loving it, not just eating unconsciously while you're driving or, being super stressed at work and just shoving down handfuls of whatever. Just simple changes, making statements. I'm going to be conscious when I'm putting things into my body. I'm going to be present. I'm going to be in a happy mood. I'm going to be around people that I love. There's great masters of the past said, it's not just what you eat, but when you eat, who you eat with, how you eat, how fast you eat. All these processes are very important for, expanding our health, expanding our consciousness, and so much more. And you'll have no idea what I'm really talking about until you start to do these things and start to experience what can happen in your lifestyle when you start to take on some of these things I'm speaking of. After a fast, really planning, when the next fast is going to be. Or if you have specific issues, liver condition, kidney problems, circulatory issues, lung problems, asthma, arthritis, headaches, whatever types of symptoms and things are going on, you may want to plan a more specific type of cleanse after the first fast, or even do a specific cleanse at the end of a fast. The end of the fast is the best time to do a liver gallbladder flush. It's the best time, to have colonics and, salt flushes. It's the best time to do a kidney cleanse. It's the best time to do all of these things. So I believe you'll be more in tune with your body and be able to really look at whole foods and smell some things and really know what your body's actually looking for. So give that a crack. Looking into what more you can learn in the next 60 to 90 days, your brain's going to be on fire. So downloading audiobooks, educating yourself around, whatever you're into. If you're into making money, after a fast, you're going to learn so much more. You're going to be on fire. Your business is going to take off. You're going to make heaps more money. Everything you do, you're going to attract more people. There's just a vibrancy. There's a quality that's unspoken of fasting. That's just this untalked about energy that you exude that people are genuinely attracted to. So your business is going to grow. Whatever you're focused on, that's what's going to grow in your life. Where attention goes, energy grows. If you focus on your relationships and building those, that's what's going to improve. If you focus on your business, you're going to see it jump in leaps and bounds. Anything you focus on after a fast, at least of 7 to 10 days, you'll notice a massive change in the next 60 to 90 days after a fast. Setting achievable goals, getting off of meds, building muscle, keep your digestive system moving after a fast. Notice if you go more than 45 minutes to an hour after having a big meal, if you don't have a bowel movement. Once everything's flowing and going once again, which it'll be working so much better after a fast, notice when all of a sudden you start to slow down. Notice when you have a big meal and you don't have a bowel movement within 45 minutes to an hour, and maybe it's time to add more fiber. Maybe it's time to add more exercise. Maybe it's time to do a fast again. These are all signals that we need to change something, because after a big meal, we should be having bowel movements. It's just a natural process that should be happening if you're healthy and your digestive system's working properly. So eat healthier and shine your light on the world. You are basically joining a small percentage of individuals who have existed for thousands of years, who observed fasting and detoxification. These people were great thinkers, they were healers, they were prophets, they were world rulers, chemists, alchemists, mathematicians, game changers. There's so many people not even on here. Leonardo da Vinci, so many amazing individuals that were proponents for fasting. And the most profound, obviously, on there, the bottom left, Don and Tyler Tolman, those guys, man. Check them out. So, with that being said, after a fast, a good place to go might be my 13-week Heal Thyself program. Really giving you all of the education over a 13-week period of how to truly transform your lifestyle. And a lot of people aren't ready to make big shifts and big changes all at once. It's not practical. But if you can make small little shifts every week, which is how this program is designed, you watch a couple of videos every week and you make small little changes. And by doing that after the 13 weeks, your entire lifestyle is completely different. During this 13 weeks, there's so much education on how to heal yourself, how to heal chronic disease, how to do a juice fast properly, how to do a water fast properly. There's so much content from myself and my father in there. This program sold for $2,500 for the last few years, and we've lowered the price down to $600 just by itself. If you want to add in a $600 30-day adventure with a colon cleanse and raw foods, we also have a discount on that at $997. So under $1,000, you have all the food and cleansing materials and information for 13 weeks to completely transform your life. Or if you just want the content and you can do it on your own for $597, you can get this program. And for watching this webinar and being a part of this, we're offering an additional $200 off. And all you got to do is simply go to the website and enter the code JM7O, not 0, O, 2E. And that'll give you an additional $200 off. So for $497, $397, under $400, you got all this content, all this information. This is like a nutritional degree in health. You'll literally have what it takes to identify disease. You'll have what it takes to know what to do when people have different conditions. You'll know how to heal yourself. You'll know how to help your family and friends, and potentially even make a career out of this. The thing you got to understand is that I don't have a single certification in anything. I'm passionate, I'm an observer, I'm a researcher, and I'm a doer. I practice on myself, and I've been observing healing from my father, and I've been helping facilitate healing with thousands of people for many, many years, and it's worked. And the proof is in the pudding. Truth can be seen in the thousands of individuals that come into my programs and that reverse their skin conditions, reverse their digestive conditions. People have reversed cancer, diabetes, heart disease, Lyme disease, all these different conditions that we're taught that you cannot heal. Fasting and nutrition and lifestyle will heal these things. I believe that 1,000%. You cannot convince me otherwise because I've been seeing it happen since I was 13 years old. Terminal cancer, terminal conditions, all of these things, things that I just said, there's no way in hell that person's going to survive. And I've seen them turn around. I've seen my dad work with people. I've been working with people in programs here in Bali for many years. And it's phenomenal, the healing that can take place. And when you go through this program, you start to understand that. And when then you start helping people and they start healing themselves, if the career is the type of thing you're looking for, you can do it. You don't need a certificate to give people nutritional advice. And when all of a sudden you start having results, guess what? The future is people going to people who are getting results. In the past, it's like, who has a medical degree? Who has a nutritional degree? Well, I'm sorry, but when all these nutritionists and naturopaths and doctors are coming to me for healing and asking me not to tell anybody because they're embarrassed, it becomes quite obvious who's getting results. Money talks and bullshit walks. People are going to start seeing who's healthy and who's not. People are going to start noticing who's got energy and vitality, who's speaking the truth and speaking my language. What do I resonate with? And that's going to come from doing. Gnosis, praxis, and intellicus. To know, to do, and to become. This course is the knowledge and sets you up with the tools to practice that knowledge, therefore gaining an understanding beyond what any nutritional course, any university could ever teach you when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to healing. So I just want to thank you guys for being on this webinar and getting a little more educated on how to break a fast. Love you guys. Thank you so much for being on here. Have a beautiful, beautiful week, and we'll talk to you later.